But just by her saying Mr. Diamond, I don't know, it just made me feel like she was talking to a 50 or 60-year-old man, and he's 30. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Happy October 1st to me, because this is not going to be out today. It is currently 9:35, and I'm going to start, 36, and I'm going to start a readathon. JK, just kidding, we're not doing that. I am going to be reading what I consider to be popular books. I say what I consider to be because, I don't know, I feel like I see two people talking about a book and automatically in my head I say, oh, that's popular, gotta read it. We're gonna keep this short, sweet, and simple. The first book that I'm starting is Demon's Dream, An Unexpected Love Story by readwkc. I am already on chapter 11. I'm in it right now. Mind you, that's not saying much. That's probably only 20 pages. This book is over 700 pages. Recently, there's been some discussion about it on TikTok. Someone bringing up the cover. I really have no problem with the cover. I like it. I don't know what that style would be, like a collage style, because there's like 3 different pictures going on. We see her, I'm assuming that is Demon, and then we have this car picture, or a picture with a car at the bottom. The only reason that I've been putting off reading it is because it's so long, but we're just gonna jump in because I'm determined. Look, I had a good September reading month. I'm determined to have an even better October reading month. I'm probably gonna read even less in October because I'm going on a trip for a week, but we'll see. I'm loving it already. And a lot of people I've seen talk about this book, they say that they want a sequel. And since I haven't, well, I'm reading it now, but since I haven't finished it, in my head I'm like, a sequel? It's over 700 pages. What more could you possibly want? But I'm curious to see if I feel the same way at the end. I'm loving it already. I love the writing. Normally within, oh my gosh, my arm. Normally within the first 2 pages, I can tell if I'm gonna really like the writing, and I'm loving it. Now, I will say, the only thing confusing about it so far, the first 3 chapters, I was a bit confused. I actually had to make sure that I was reading a standalone, because the way that the book is, and I like this, but you're immediately immersed in the story, and if you miss something and you like skim around, you might miss that one line that's telling you the connection between the people, telling you the little bit of history that you need. She's not giving you like this section of background. You're literally getting that information when you need it. And it's kind of, there's different character point of view, so it's multiple POV. There's Demon, there's Dream, there's Dante. I was confused about Dante getting his, but apparently there's gonna be another like couple in here. At least that's what I saw in someone's review. Smoking somebody, I don't know. We have Dream and Demon. Demon, like, no one messes with that man. His brother is Dante. Now, I think this is some kind of like mafia book. So, organized crime. We have Dream, whose brother, D'Angelo, ended up marrying someone named Crystal. And Crystal is Dante's daughter. Dante is some kind of kingpin, like he's big money, okay? And he doesn't like that, so he says daughter for a daughter. He ends up making Dream be with his brother Demon. So that's literally as far as I've gotten. I don't want to say too much because I don't remember. Halloween Town's going to play. Y'all already know Halloween movies about to be playing on Freeform. I'm gonna continue reading this. Oh, jump scare. Y'all, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. Hey, Monday morning update. I forgot I need to drink my tea before I leave. I am still currently reading this, obviously. Last night I stopped on... Shit, I'm gonna have to bring it with me. It's already 6:36. Oh, ignore this. I'm doing my edges. Or don't ignore it. I wear what I want to wear. I stopped at 47% last night, chapter 52. I knew that wasn't quite the halfway mark because chapter-wise, there's 109 chapters. The halfway mark of that is about 54 and a half. So I knew I wouldn't be at quite the halfway mark yet. Y'all, it's so good. I read 351 pages yesterday. It's just something about it. It's so addicting. I feel like it's kind of coming off as like the Ethics series if you've read it, where yes, there are two main characters, but we also have three other characters. Sometimes we get the POV of Dante. Not often. He was kind of at the beginning of the book. I don't even know if we're going to get his at all anymore. The other two POVs are Diana and Smoke. Smoke is a friend of Damien. He does not have a lot of those. But he owns some kind of, like, a bunch of restaurants and bars, something like that. He's an entrepreneur. Hope I said that right. That's one of those English words, y'all, I can't really pronounce. Entrepreneur. I did it. Anyways, and Diana is Dream's sister. And they have that storyline. So I think that's why this being long is not bad. Because you're kind of getting your cake and eating it too. Like, you're getting different storylines. You're getting Dream and Damien. And you're getting Smoke and Diana. Diana is actually being arranged to marry Jordan. He cheats. And she's like, what the hell? You know? But the day that he cheats, so that's one of the trigger warnings, she goes to Smoke's pubs, bars, whatever, and they meet like that. And they kind of fall for each other. So there is obviously cheating involved with that. Her fiance at the time cheated. But we're also getting details of her obviously cheating. Personally, I didn't care because he cheated first. Now, in real life, I mean, I don't encourage that behavior. But in fiction, I mean, it's fiction. So I didn't really feel some type of way about it or anything. But y'all, it's so good. And I say all that to say it's kind of like Ethic in my opinion, because Ethic was the same way. That series is mainly about Ethic and Alani, but we get a lot of Messiah and Morgan. How could I forget her name? And then we have a little bit of Bella. So we get multiple POVs, even if it's about like one couple. So I have 5 hours and about 45 minutes left. I'm hoping to finish it today. Yeah, it's 6:43. I will not be able to finish this in time. So I'm going to have to hold it as I drive because it's not going to fit in the cup holder. A little morning update. Again, I'm getting ready for work. It's 6:26. It is Tuesday morning. I am having to re-upload. I had to re-upload my YouTube video that's going to be posted today to my September wrap-up because I was looking at the edits that I did on CapCut. And then all of a sudden the edits were wrong. They were off. So I had to refix it, re-upload it. But it was uploading as I slept on my phone. And so now I'm having to re-add some detail. Got some raspberry tea. If you're a picky drinker like myself and you want to try herbal teas, I would try raspberry. And I say chamomile. I know it's not pronounced that way. It's probably like chamomile or something, chamomile. I say chamomile. That one. Those two are pretty decent. Oh yeah. So I wanted to finish this so bad last night. Right? So that I could say I finished a 700-page book in 2 days. But I did not. I was so tired last night. But I should be able to finish it today. I have 2 hours and 34 minutes left. I'm on like chapter 83, I believe. Again, it's going pretty good. Yes, it's hella long. I mean, I'm still entertained. You know what I mean? Could I complain about the length? Like, could things have been taken out? Sure. I mean, any book that's long like that, duh. But I think the reason why I'm kind of speeding through it is because I'm thinking in my head, it's like 2 books in one. Because there was a spot in here around the 300-page mark, 350, something like that, where I was kind of like, it could have ended on a cliffhanger there and she could have done like a second book. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much to say about the plot because I'm 500 pages in. I'm about 568 pages. And I feel like I would for sure be saying some kind of spoiler at this point, you know, being so far in. I've definitely seen a change in Dream and Damien. And for a couple of chapters, I'd say a good 10 to 15 chapters. We didn't really get any Smoke and Diana, but we're kind of going back to them. I'm actually on her chapter right now, or their situation. I'm curious if after this wraps up, is that kind of it for them? Or are we going to be focusing more on Damien and Dream? I have no idea. Yes, it is spice heavy. It's not so much where it's like, it's just spice, like it's just sex in here. It's not like that at all. Like, I better not hear anyone say, oh, it's just 700 pages of sex. No, it is not. And that's what I really like about it. I really, now, is it still heavy in the spice department? Yes. But you can still have like 20 chapters, maybe not that much. I'll say 10 chapters in a row where there's none, you know, or sometimes it could be a little fade to black a little bit because it's like we just got a detailed scene, you know, we don't need it right here. So I do like that, how she did the spicy scenes. I actually finished Demon's Dream yesterday. So it took me 3 days to read 758 pages. Honestly feel like I could have finished it in the same day, which was, I started it on Sunday, but I don't know. And then I felt like I could have finished it Monday, but I was tired and I wanted to go to sleep, and I did. So I finished it yesterday. I read about 2 hours. I believe I read the least amount on Tuesday. I feel like I actually read enough, you know, to get me to finish it early. So I'm gonna give it a 5-star. I've actually debated on giving it like a 4.75 because of the length, but then I actually want to give it a 5-star flat out because of the length. Because to say that this author was able to write 700 plus pages of a book and she had my attention the entire time is amazing. What really keeps your attention, or it kept my attention, was that we didn't just focus on Demon, or I call him Damien, and Dream. You know, we have another couple. It's not necessarily tit for tat, so it's not like we have Smoke, then Diana's point of view, then we go back to Damien, and then Dream. It's not tit for tat like that. We'll focus a couple of chapters on Smoke and Diana, and we'll kind of fix their story or continue their story, and then we kind of get to a little cliffhanger. And then you're in a rush to get to the next chapter because you're like, oh, we've been going, you know, Smoke, Diana, Smoke, like I'm gonna get Diana again and we're gonna see where, you know, it was going. And it's like, nope, we're going back to Dream, or we're going back to Damien. So I really like that aspect of it. So my next book in this video is going to be by India Carter, called Tempted by Danger, because this book has been on my TBR for the longest time, probably over a year by now. This is what it looks like, so I don't have to put the picture. Lately, people have been talking about it, like people who hadn't read it before, they're reading it now. And I guess it's just kind of reminding me. And it is a little lengthy, it's like 400 pages. But y'all, I read a 700-page book, so that ain't squat. It's Sunday morning. Let's get into Tempted by Danger. I am loving it so far. Okay, so quickly, what's been going on? So the book starts out in May of 2015. We start off with our main character, Diamond. Now, it wasn't until page 11 that I figured out Diamond is a man. Even when I was reading the synopsis, I wasn't sure who was who, because the other person's name is Quincy. Now Quincy, I mean, that could be a man's name, that could be a woman's name. 26, he's at his birthday party, and one of his brothers, Diesel, comes to get him, and he's like, let's go back to New York, because he was living in California. But his brother comes to get him and he says, we're going back home, because their dad has some kind of announcement. So his announcement is that he's going to be stepping down from CEO of their company because of women that's going to be coming out against him. I don't know if they were SA allegations or like just cheating allegations, because he is a married man. The other news is that he's going to make Diamond CEO. Diamond wants no parts because he does not have a close relationship with his parents. So, little background, Diamond is the youngest out of his siblings. He has 5. He's the baby of 5. This could be the order, but I could be wrong. Declan, I believe, is the oldest brother because he was like, why am I not going to be CEO? So I believe he's the oldest. Then you have Demetria, who's the older sister. Diesel, I believe, is the middle child. Then they have a sister named Denham. See, I think Diesel might be the second oldest because they mentioned that, no. Diesel is the twin of someone. I believe he's a twin. Then Denham, and then our main character, Diamond. The reason why he doesn't have a close relationship is we gotta go back 10 years, right? So when he was 16, he was expelled from school and his parents were sending him to Wyoming or I think Wyoming for an all-boys school because the little nasties was caught having an orgy at 16, and the girls that were involved were daughters of prominent like people in politics, congressmen, like all that. So of course all the boys were expelled, but not the girls. When he's 16 and they tell him like you're going no matter what, he actually walks out of the room, but he comes back. But as he's coming back, he overhears his parents, specifically his mom, saying like, I wish Denham would have been a match for Demetria. He's like, well, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Apparently, Denham and Diesel were only conceived because Demetria, when she was a baby, when she was younger, she was sick. I don't know if they ever mentioned what she had, but nobody was a type. So again, I don't know if that meant, did she need a liver, a kidney, blood? I don't know what that means. It did involve some kind of surgery. So they had Denham. Denham wasn't a match. However, whatever they did to her as like an embryo, she turned out to be like super duper smart, and they said it was because of that. But then the mom ended up having tried to have 2 more babies, but she miscarried. And then when Diamond was conceived, she vowed that she wasn't going to be that attentive like during her pregnancy. So she didn't sing to her stomach, she didn't do anything. She said when she gave birth to Diamond, she didn't even cry. Not cry. She wasn't even in pain. Diamond didn't cry. There was just she didn't have any type of relationship. She didn't want to form a bond with Diamond while he was in her stomach because in case she miscarried. Fortunately, she didn't miscarry, but unfortunately, there was no bond there, right? He ends up finding out that that was the only reason that he was conceived, and fortunately, he was a match for whatever procedure needed to be done for Demetria. So fast forward back to 2015 when he's 26, that's why he wants no parts. He ends up doing it and whatever. So then we fast forward 5 years. We fast forward again to 2019, which is the present of this book, and we meet our FMC, Quincy. Quincy is 24, so there's a little age gap because, again, she's 24 right now. We're kind of 4 years in the future, so Diamond would be 30. Now, she lives in a small town, something Grove, Citrus Grove, and she works with her parents, who has a bed and breakfast. They own 2. She, in the future, would like to take over for her parents. One of the patrons or the people that's staying there is Denham, the sister of Diamond. Mind you, this is 4 years later, so he's already been in that role for 4 years. And Denham was like, she's talking with Quincy, and Quincy, says what she majored in, some kind of communications or something. And she's like, well, you know what? I have a job for you if you want it. Working at my family's company, you would be working. I don't know if she tells her specifically, you would be an executive assistant to my brother, but it's in New York, and she's kind of always wanted to go to New York. Y'all, this book is actually very long. It's like 400 pages. However, it's only 19 chapters. So the chapters are very, very, very long, like 20 minutes at least. And it wasn't until page 100 that they finally meet Quincy and Diamond. Y'all, it is so good. She's been working for him for about a week. I think she's right at the end of the week. It's Sunday, which technically that's the beginning of the week. But let me see. I'm on 37%. Page 156. Banter between them is hilarious. There's one part, I told myself to remember where it was. Yeah, so her name is Quincy, and when they first meet, I could go on and on about this book, but when they first meet, she messes up her name. Instead of saying Quincy, she says that her name is Wincy. And she corrects herself soon after. He obviously knows her name too, I think. But now he just calls her Wincy. And gets on her nerves. It is so funny, the banter between them. I know it's about to heat up. Oh, yes. So this is the funniest part, and then I'm gonna go and read some more. But this is her first day. And he calls her. Now, where her desk is, they can see each other. Like, they're that close to each other. And he calls her instead, like, it's a glass. So he can literally see, you can hear and everything. But he calls her. And he's like, go to lunch. So she goes. And she comes back at about 1. But she's like walking up to the building. And it's a very secure building. And the guy at the front is like, you have no access. And he's like, you've been fired. She's like, been fired? What do you mean? He said, so I think Diamond calls her or something. Yeah, he calls her. And he's like, lunch ended at 1 o'clock. She said, it's 1:02. And the only reason it's 1:02 is because the guard at the front stopped me and is talking to me. So he's like, I don't care, you're fired. She calls his sister. And guess what? She's still working there. But anyways, that was probably... This book is very, very, very funny, but that's probably the standout scene for me that I will probably remember. I could be lying because I didn't remember it earlier. But yeah, let me go finish. Okay, so quickly. I'm still reading the book, an hour 8 left. But I just wanted to say, I don't remember, and I don't feel like checking myself. I was trying to tell you guys the order of, I want to call him Demon because I'm thinking of the other book. The order of Diamond and his siblings. And I said, like, I was really mixing up, like, Diesel. I didn't know if he was, like, the middle child or whatnot. He's not. And he is a twin, so I was right about that. He and Declan are twins, so they're the 2 oldest. Then there's Demetria, who's technically the middle child. She was the one that was sick when she was younger. Then Denim, and then Diamond. I don't know if I'm going to give this a 5-star. However, if I do, it's because of the vibes. Hey, so I'm coming on here to say it is 9:45. And earlier today during lunch, I did start what's going to more than likely be my last book of the video, which is Their Vicious Games. So this book just recently came out, I think September. Super popular. I only ever hear good things about it. It was actually a pre-order of mine. And this has got to be one of the prettiest hardcovers I've seen. Because I don't know if you can tell. I feel like you can. This is green. This right here is green and pink. And it's so awesome. I'm really not a person that cares about how the book looks exactly. Like, I love artwork and I love covers. But like special editions, for example, I don't care. I'm not about to be dropping a bag on a special edition. You know what I mean? So you will never really see me buy a special edition of anything. I just wanted to document how I'm feeling right now. So I'm currently on page 46. I'm nervous how I'm gonna like this book because I don't know if I'm in a YA mood. I swear, I change locations every day. Every time I film. I'm back the next day with my thoughts on the book. I didn't come back yesterday and log back in or whatnot. I'm watching SpongeBob. SpongeBob is watching me. But I told myself that I was gonna write down all of my notes, but I didn't. My brats, rocking my brats. Okay, so number 1, what rating am I gonna give it? Pretty sure I'm gonna end up giving it a 4.75, rounded to a 5, because there was a part at the end, without spoiling anything, there's a couple of conflicts in this book. There's like a conflict individually, like with themselves, not with each other. But I just really loved how it played out. There's one specific conflict and I'm like, that right there. I enjoyed reading it with my whole chest, with my heart. It was so nice to read. But I did love the beginning because we got to know them individually, if that makes sense, before they got together. with that being said, so this is workplace. She ends up being hired as his, well, Denham, his older sister by 2 years, ends up, oh, let me write down an idea before I forget. She ends up hiring her as his assistant. I don't know if she's technically allowed to do that. So yeah, she's technically working for him. Now, is it technically forbidden? Sure, but not really. Everybody and their mama end up finding out. The only people that don't know that they're together is her family, because they're not in New York. You know, he's kind of hesitant because it's like, that's his #1 rule, no fraternizing, you know, on the job, in the company. He literally said, like, he's fired so many people because of that. And now he getting it on with his assistant, you know? But again, it wasn't forbidden in that way. Everybody in the mama knew. His siblings, his parents knew, the workers knew, everybody knew. Now that brings me to one of the things I didn't like. So, well, I will say this book was spicier than I expected. I would even say it's on the verge of being an erotica, but personally, I don't really consider books that aren't novellas, like full novels, to be eroticas. I always say that eroticas to me are heavy, not only in spice, like that is the plot. You can't take it out because then you would have no book, but then they're also super short. And this, you know, I wasn't expecting it to have as much spice. Now, the detail was good. However, here are my icks. His name is Diamond. When she first meets the man, she calls him Mr. Diamond. Now, he never corrects her. And when I tell you, every single interaction where she calls his name, she says Mr. Diamond. I never once read her say just Diamond. Or even Mr. Danger. That's his last name. Diamond Danger. I didn't even hear her say that. Everything is Mr. Diamond. And when I tell you, it gave me such a huge ick, because when I hear that, maybe if she had only used it in the bedroom, sure. No, she started calling him that before, you know, they got in the bedroom. Literally their first interaction. She calls him that in the bedroom. Okay. But you know the other thing? It made it feel like such a huge age gap. And the funny thing is, it actually is an age gap. It's 6 years. 6 years? Or 8 years? 6 years. She's 24. Holla! And he's 30, right? Do I consider that to be an age gap? Like in fiction, I love age gap. Do I consider that to be an age gap? I mean, age gap to me in fiction is like 9+ years. Now, is it literally an age gap? Yeah. I mean, hell, if I was with someone who was 25, that's still a little age gap. You know, he or she or they or whatever is older. But just by her saying Mr. Diamond, I don't know, it just made me feel like she was talking to a 50 or 60-year-old man, and he's 30, you know? So I didn't like that. I will say as well, with some of the spicy scenes, I don't know if I already said that, so I might take this out, but there were scenes where I just felt like we would have gotten more detail on. There's one scene where it's still detailed, but it was just so vastly different from the other scenes that we had read, the sex scenes, that I wanted this one to be live, right? Like reading it as it's happening, because they had anal in it, they had handcuffs involved, and it's like, I wanted to see that, you know, live, like as it's happening, rather than her kind of summarizing, oh, this is what happened. It was still pretty detailed, but I feel like it would have hit differently had it had been happening, you know, like on page, like as you're reading it. It was good. I understand my mutuals who absolutely love it, but I hope I didn't miss anything, because I didn't write down some of the things that I wanted to say, so I hope I hit everything. While I'm here, I will also update on my last book, which is Their Vicious Games. I'm on page 100 exactly. This took a turn, and I'm only 100 pages in. So we have Adina. Now Adina is going to this boarding prep school, whatever it's called, and it's majority white people. I believe her best friend Tony is black, because she mentions that Tony has a twin brother who's light skinned, and you would only say someone is light skinned if they're black, right? But she, Adina, is set and was accepted to go to Yale. She got that revoked. We didn't see on page, or did we see it on page? I don't know, but she ends up getting into a fight or an argument with Esme. I don't remember for the life of me if it turned physical. I'm pretty sure it turned physical. That just goes to show you, like, bird brain, like what's going on up here? I'm only 100 pages in. I started it yesterday. How am I forgetting the stuff? But anyways, she got that revoked. Now, the only way that she can see herself still going to Yale is if she gets accepted into this competition called the Finish, and she does. So what was kind of a twist in here is what all this competition is going to entail. The winner not only will get, like, to say, oh, you know, the Remington family, I'm kind of a part of them because I won this competition. I had 3 trials, and probably go to their dream school no matter if, like Adina was revoked, you know, the acceptance was revoked. You can still go no matter what. But there's also something else in here that I wasn't expecting. I don't even know if I should even say, because it was a plot twist to me. So I don't know if that's just a me and I just didn't pay attention when I read the synopsis. But I'm done. I've come back. This was my last book of this video. They're Vicious Games. I'm giving it a 5-star. This is the first time in a while where a book took me as long as it did and it's not even affecting my rating. This was really entertaining. I enjoyed it. Now, I will say it picked up because I would say like the first 100 pages, I may be exaggerating, maybe like the first 80 pages, it just wasn't super interesting. Like, I was still into it and I was still reading it, but I was able to, like, tell when it picked up because I'm like, oh, okay, let's get to it. And I think it was right around the time they start the first trial. There is a little romance in here, but it's not a romance book, so don't expect so much at the end. But you do get a little bit of crumbs of it, and I enjoyed that. It's very exciting, violent. What threw me off was the murder. Now, I knew that this book had murder, but the way that the first scene goes down and the DM goes down. Anyways, the way that the first murder goes down is like, what? Now, I understand other characters, they weren't surprised by it, they weren't shocked, sure, but our main character, Dina, I don't know, her reaction just threw me off. It's like, yes, she was shocked at some point, but I felt like she just got over it very quickly. I would love to see this go from page to screen as a movie, or I think this would do best as a movie, not like a TV show. I feel like some books I read, you know, it could do, I feel like it would do better as a TV show versus a movie. Obviously, this is, you know, one book. I don't think that there's going to be a sequel or anything. I hope not, because I feel like this has a good finish. But I would definitely want to see this turn into a movie, you know? So yes, I think I read 3 books in here. I read 3 books that I consider to be popular in my opinion. We have Demon's Dream by L. Kaysen. This is urban romance, urban fiction. I hear about it all the time. I would say out of all of these books, I think that's the most popular one. And then I read Tempted by Danger by India Carter. That one, it's not that it's necessarily popular. I just saw a couple of mutuals talk about it a couple of years ago, or like last year, and I added it to my TBR, and then I saw another person bring it up again a couple of weeks ago, and it reminded me, hey, go pick it up, go read it. So that's kind of why that one's in here. And then my last book, They're Vicious Games. This is the newest book. This just came out, I don't know, maybe September. We're in October. Fun fact, if you've made it this far, today is October 13th. I'm gonna actually try and get this video edited and upload it by tomorrow, October 14th. So hopefully you guys will be seeing this video then. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'm gonna go start working on another one. I'll see you when I see you. Okay, let's do my thumbnail. I don't think I did one in this video yet. I wonder, is it too bright right here?